This is Marianne Martindale from the Alliance for a Better Utah, and welcome to the Better Utah Beat. Well, it certainly hasn't been the best couple of weeks for Salt Lake County mayoral Republican candidate Mark Crockett, who's running against Senator Ben McAdams to succeed current mayor Peter Caroon. Early last week, local blogger and radio host J.M. Bell uncovered some public court records that documented both current and past tax liens against Mr. Crockett. This wouldn't be extremely noteworthy, except that Mr. Crockett has made his financial expertise the center of his campaign. He touts his ability to handle budgets and numbers in virtually every public speech and radio appearance and in his campaign literature. So, as you may imagine, the fact that he has a long history of being unable to manage his personal finances has caused some dismay among the Crockett camp. They are, no doubt, still reeling from the previous week of bad press over his acceptance of illegal campaign contributions. The story of Crockett's tax problems garnered some attention, but likely would have disappeared quickly if only Mr. Crockett and his campaign didn't have a tendency to overreact to bad news. Just a few days ago, a new development extended the story, as word spread that Mark Crockett and his attorneys were sending out cease and desist letters to both Bell and others who had reposted Bell's material. Their contention was that Bell was intentionally attempting to harm Crockett personally as well as professionally by including this private information. As it turns out, the public records of tax liens that are available online from the 3rd District Court include the last few numbers of a person's Social Security number as proof of identification. The court blacks out the majority of the number before posting the documents online, but the final few digits remain. When Mr. Bell posted the documents, he simply posted exactly what was available online, without any alteration. Mr. Crockett and his attorneys chose not to address their concern with the courts, who were providing the documents, but instead went after Mr. Bell for his posting. And to make matters worse for himself, Crockett also sent out a cease and desist letter to some Twitter members because they had simply retweeted Mr. Bell's post. Bell himself laughed about the matter, telling the Deseret News that he was more than happy to alter the public records to block out all of the numbers. But he warned Mr. Crockett that what he had posted was already publicly available online through the court, and he had not added or changed anything. But that didn't stop Crockett, known for his notorious temper, from lashing out in the same Deseret News article, calling Mr. Bell a political terrorist, all for simply posting a public record. What started out as a relatively small news piece in an otherwise cluttered campaign cycle became a prominent news story that garnered significant negative headlines for Mr. Crockett thanks to his heated and misdirected overreaction. But that wasn't the end of Mr. Crockett's bad news week. Oh no. This week, the local political blog Pride in Utah uncovered more bad news. Throughout the campaign, and especially during these last few weeks, Mr. Crockett has been making the claim that he is the best choice for county mayor because of his experience helping large organizations, such as Bank of America and the Colorado Department of Natural Resources, save millions of dollars and avoid financial collapse. His new campaign literature even features the logos of both Bank of America and the Colorado Department of Natural Resources, as well as half a dozen other multi-million-dollar organizations. Placing company logos on your campaign literature is a presumed endorsement of your campaign. Yet when Pride in Utah contacted each of these companies for comment and asked why they were choosing to endorse Mark Crockett, every single company, without exception, responded that they had made no such endorsement. One of the companies even went so far as to say that not only had they not endorsed Mr. Crockett, but they had never heard of nor had any contact with either him or his consulting firms. The benchmark of Mr. Crockett's campaign is his claim of experience and expertise in the business world. He cites various clients as though they are satisfied customers and even infers their campaign endorsement. When he runs for political office and chooses this as a campaign strategy, it becomes fair game, and people are right to ask questions and dig deeper. In this age of instantly accessible information, it is foolish or perhaps egotistical for a candidate to assume his version of the facts will go unchallenged. Pride in Utah and J.M. Bell are just two examples of this, and Mr. Crockett's angry and misdirected reaction highlights his arrogance and calls into question his experience. In Mr. Crockett's situation, one would expect a lawyer not to use a disgruntled client who sued him for malpractice as a referral for other potential clients. Likewise, one would think that Crockett would refer only to experience where the other party was actually satisfied with the work performed. If the clients weren't satisfied, or Crockett and his firm or their work wasn't memorable, that should speak volumes to the voters. We'll be following this story as well as other major candidates who are using their personal stories for political gain without regard for the public's right to ask more probing questions. Until next week, this is Marianne Martindale from the Alliance for a Better Utah with this week's edition of the Better Utah Beat. Have a great week, and remember that together we can make a better Utah.